and welcome Bitcoin today. What a night it was here in Germany and Europe. We all were sleeping, while in America there was something big going on in the Bitcoin market. And the expert is right here with me, Udo Ahmed. Hello, Udo.
Hello.
What happened?
Yeah, it was a crazy night. First of all, I couldn't sleep last night.
Obviously.
I was, obviously after 2 years, we are in this process of building models and mathematical models. And it was very exciting for us after 2 years to see that the big guys come into the game. And we are the small guys, but obviously it was not so wrong what we did. And yeah, it was an exciting night. And so it was about 2 o'clock last night when I realized what happened, because I fell to sleep. And when I wake up and my wife came, and so the rest of the night we drank coffee and talked about. We were actually very happy about what happened, because we spent a lot of money and effort into all these models. This is what it is. Yeah.
So it really was a big change. Now the basis for Bitcoin is totally different. And the markets are the big topics at the moment. We got Europe on the one hand, we got the United States on the other hand. How is this decision going to be impacting these markets?
Yeah, it's one of these things that Europe is always running after. You know, when you go back in history, when we had the mainframe computers from IBM and when personal computers came and the internet came, it was always front running from the US, and Europe was running after and crying, oh, we want to have it as well, but obviously they didn't have. And it's the same now with this. I mean, I can remember in the late 90s when the internet .com bubble burst, which was in March 20, a lot of the media was quite happy. You said, well, internet is dead and you will never need internet, and Amazon is dead and you don't need Apple and blah, blah, blah. You all know what happened. And this is another revolution. It's a game changer what happened, because the blockchain technology, so-called Web3, is a technology of transferring value. With the internet, you transfer data. It's not really safe and blah, blah, blah. And you can copy. But with crypto blockchain transactions, you cannot copy. It's a peer-to-peer system. Everybody knows this from WhatsApp, for example. Pretty much the same, but here it's not data, it's value. And Bitcoin, the Bitcoin protocol, which is 15 years ago, by the way, it's on the birthday, it happened last night. On the birthday, it was the 5th of January 2009 when the first Bitcoin was mined, and 15 years ago. And the real value of Bitcoin is not the Bitcoin itself or the price of Bitcoin. It's today the safest network in the world, and this is the reason why the SEC last night gave approval. I'm pretty sure about this. And so Europe is running after like always.
And the interesting thing, the approval, as you mentioned before, is not like for a currency. It's more like a new type of...
it's for a commodity.
It's a commodity, but digital, not from the ground, taken from the ground. And this is the first time. Yeah,
I mean, what we experience while we do the video is historical. I mean, in 20, 30, 50 years time, you will read this in books of history. In the last 5,000 years, human being had gold, mainly gold, and the Romans had gold, everybody had gold. And the money system actually started with gold. And later, they started with paper money, as we know, a lot of problem with this, obviously. So, yeah, this is the thing. Last night, we really checked what was written in detail in the approval. And the main sentence was that they give approval for a commodity. So the SEC sees Bitcoin not as a currency. They see it as a commodity, as a digital commodity, digital gold. And this is the big game change.
Yeah. And this will change the market. And a big part of the market is not only the clients or the buyers, it's the miners, the people who get this digital stuff from the digital ground. How is this decision and last night impacting the miners?
Very much so. First of all, the name mining is interesting because mining comes from mining. I mean, you do silver mining, you do copper mining, you aluminum or whatever. Well, it's nothing else than a huge farm of computers, thousands of computers, and which we know from the internet. So it's nothing else. But they call it miners. So just a word. But it's true. What do? we have to find a Bitcoin in the cryptographic Bitcoin protocol. And the more miners participate, the more it gets difficult and the hash rate goes up. At the moment, the hash rate is on all-time high with about 450,000 extra hashes. It's unbelievable. And so they need a lot of electricity, and it's getting more and more expensive to find a Bitcoin. And in the moment, the Bitcoin production cost in the United States and Texas is the main place because they have sun and renewable energy and all that type of thing, is still $20,000. And now the Middle East comes in, Kuwait, Oman, Emirates, they all come in because
they have sunny places.
They have renewable energy, they have sun 12 months a year. So they will have production costs maybe with 5 or 6 or 7,000, much less. And so for the mining industry, the big problem is the halving coming. And in other words, that production costs will go up because of competition, yet at the same time, the reward will go down. Because what is very important to know is when the Bitcoin was started, in the protocol it was written, in the beginning, in 2009, that the reward was 50 Bitcoin to solve one block. This is why it's called blockchain. You solve a block, you validate a block, and you got 50. And then every 4 years, this is why we have a 4-year cycle, it was reduced by 50%. So 50, 25, 12.5. And in the moment, it's 6.25. And in April, it will go down to 3.15, meaning in the moment, every day, 900 Bitcoin come on the market, new Bitcoin, which is not very much, by the way. And then it will be only 450. And the total amount, as everybody knows, is limited to 21 million. So it's a very scary product, very, very scary. And scarcity will increase, and this is why the price will go up. Obviously, this is what it is. And so it's a big thing. And what happened last night, the biggest wealth management in 11 out of 30 with over $50 trillion under management, they obviously saw this opportunity as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it. I mean, they applied for it, they got approved. I mean,
so it is really a game changer what happened last night. And for the whole industry, for the people in the business, for the miners, I think it's a good point to go over to the data board and check out the future and what will be going on, and you will be explaining the data from our
This is actually the heart of what we did for the last 2 years, and I think it's now about time to look into the data.
Well, I think let's check the data. I think we start with the candles on a 4-hourly base. The price in the moment is $46,000. This is basically what I said earlier on. People come in, people go out because of profit taking. So we more or less consolidate. Interesting is, why did I open here the 4-hour candles? Because you see the heavy movements in the last couple of days. This was the uncertainty, not knowing, do we get an approval? We had a lot of fake news. It was really quite a difficult time, I guess, for a lot of people. But anyway, it's over, as we know, since last night. So the first thing, very important, is the market capitalization. And this is really very nice. I mean, we're on place 10 with $926 trillion. And place 1 is gold with, $926 billion, and $13.5 trillion is gold. I always have a problem coming from German with trillions and billions. But anyway, it's very nice to see Bitcoin is since weeks established in the top 10 of the global assets, and obviously since last night this will increase. This is pretty sure. Well, Bitcoin halving clock, which we developed 96 days according to our estimations, and it's going to take place April 17. And here we come to the data. We start with the crypto fear and greed index, which is the overall, in the greed zone with 76%. Our own, which is only related to the Bitcoin, is 80%. Well, no wonder after what happened last night. Heat map, well, sure. I mean, all green, and all the altcoins, including Ether, is obviously running and following BTC. BTC is doing the front running, obviously, the whole market. Interesting is the dominance. The dominance in the crypto market is going up and up and up. Meanwhile, on 53%. Bear in mind, there are about 30,000 coins in the world. There's Bitcoin with 33, there's Ether with 17. So 70% of 30,000 coins dominates the market. This is something else. Open interest, future market. Went up and up and up. Meanwhile, in the moment, we are on $20 billion. Interesting here is CME took over, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, place one. It was Binance, but they had all these legal problems. And why is this important? Because for many weeks we saw a spread between spot and future on the CME because the pension funds, institutional investors, they heavily went in. They anticipated that the approval will come and they did the front running. On the other hand, we see the liquidations and really heavy liquidations. And this is on a daily basis. I just opened daily base and you see we saw a lot of long squeezes and short squeezes, quite heavy. A lot of people lost billions in the last couple of days by betting on the wrong side. Because, I mean, obviously, we had both, and you can see it here. So a lot of money is destroyed. Well, money is never destroyed. It goes from one person to the other. That's basically what it is. Very important is the wallets, Bitcoin loaded addresses, which we monitor on the blockchain. Close to 53 million loaded wallets. And as you can see on the graph, it's going up and up and up. This is the real deal, by the way, not the future market, because this is the future for Bitcoin. It has nothing to do with the ETF, by the way. So, and now here we come to the problem for the wealth management companies. Bitcoin balance on exchanges. I mean, just to explain shortly, there are about 19.5 million theoretically in the market, but this is not true. 20% are lost, so it's maybe 15 million. But out of the 15 million, only 2.3 million are available on exchanges. And custodian is going to take place with Coinbase because they all said they do it with them. So the problem now is if the money inflow comes into the ETFs, because it's spot and it's not future anymore, they have to buy Bitcoin. And there are not enough Bitcoin. And it's not difficult to predict that this will drive the price. Hash rate. Big problem for the miners. In the moment, as you can see, it's going up and up and up. It's actually going crazy. Let's check quickly what the reality is. 555,000 extra hashes. I was just talking about 450 while I was talking. It's getting up. And we see the result. $20,000 production cost in Texas, United States for one Bitcoin. Yes. Middle East will come in. They have sun, but also the sun is not free of charge. You have to invest in power stations, solar power stations. So maybe they have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, stuff like this. But there will be a huge competition come due to the fact that we go into a halving. Google Trends, very important. We are back on all-time high. Everybody goes on Google and checks the Bitcoin. This is no wonder. I mean, when you look what happened in the last couple of days, people were waiting to approval. But interesting is the ranking. On number one, El Salvador, number two, Nigeria. Well, legal tender. But Brazil, Netherlands, Switzerland. Switzerland on global base on number 5. And when you go back to history, when it comes to money and asset, Switzerland was always front running. Well, Switzerland is the money place. That's basically what it is. Aggregated trade volume, very important. As you know, we are here back to start of a halving. And you see, we have to come from a red to the green zone. We need volume. We need a lot of people coming into the market, buying and selling. If we don't get this, the price will not go up. And you can see from the last all-time high what happened to the volume, and it's very clear to see that we are in a similar situation to the pre-halving, that the volume goes up. And this is a very strong indicator, plus what happened last night, that the price will driven. And now we come to the very important momentum indicators, which we develop. Bollinger Bands. Yes, we are on the upper side. Usually a correction should come because when the price goes out of a Bollinger Bands, according to our records, usually a correction comes. But now everything is possible. Anyway, when you look at the RSI Relative Strength Index, that's the relation we develop between buyers and sellers. We are now in 65%. We say, well, 70% is an overbought market. We are close. So there's a lot of fear of missing out. already in the market, and probably it's going crazy now. We look at this was on a monthly basis, by the way, and we look now on a daily basis, and we see the same picture. We are running out of Bollinger Bands, and it's the same with the RSI. And the MACD here is also, we had the bullish crossover to the upside. So when you look at these charts, and we wouldn't have got the approval last night, I would say be careful. Profit taking could take place, but now it's very hard to predict anything. Anyway, our short-term indicator for 48 hours says we stay on 46. And this is what I just said. I believe profit taking will be compensated by new people coming in since last night, feeling safe doing it. But this is probably what it is. And now we come to our very, very successful indicators. The first one, prediction was 42. It's obsolete. But our second one said 44 in April. So the second one is still valid, not too bad. Interesting is, very often I was talking about Bitcoin is following a grid of 9 fields. I did a lot of videos about this, and obviously it's not so wrong what we discovered. Wyckoff, go on the website. We have a lot about Wyckoff. This model has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's 100 years old. It's basically for assets, about distribution and accumulation of the big players and manipulating the market. This is since more than 100 years fact. And it's also the same with Bitcoin. And the big guys came just in, as you can see. So history is always repeating. Anyway, this model says, because phase A, B, C, D, according to Wyckoff, is over, accumulation is over, the batteries are full, and now we are in phase E, and pretty quick it could run to $63,000. It's a momentum indicator and not a timing indicator. Fibonacci. Yeah, well, from 15.5 to now, and this is very important, very, very important, beside what happened last night. Even if it wouldn't have happened, it's the same thing. We are right in the golden box of 61.8% according to Fibonacci. And this is usually a very, very strong indicator, but price will go further up. And this is purely because of the halving. This is what I always said. But now we have like 2 factors. Huh? We have a halving and the ETF. And I'm pretty sure we will see that, as I just said, by the end of the year, we will see the all-time highs, and we will probably see more. The moving averages, very important indicator, 50 days, 200 days for crossovers to check. And we had the bullish crossover months ago, and at that time I already said, well, price will go up and went up. Nothing has changed. And finally, I come to what is Bitcoin? Check it out. Go on the website, ament-finance.de. It's interactive. You can see I play here. And this model goes up until 2030. And what is very nice to see, this is what we discovered with this sort of logarithm regression model. This is how we started. It's actually not our invention. It's stupid to talk about like this. But we went deep into it. And Alejandro did a lot of work based on artificial intelligence and millions of data. And this is maybe why we have a good model. Anyway, what you see here is 4-year cycle in the middle, top and end, bottom. And we have this power support line, which is the green line. Bitcoin goes never under the power support, the green line, and tends to the middle line, the orange line, and then to the next peak. And every 4 years look pretty much the same. Go on the site and you can play around. Well, I hope it was valuable information.
A lot of data, but that's what it's all about. The data is the knowledge that everybody needs, and Udo has the knowledge for you. And so we want to take a short-term perspective. How is the market going to react short-term?
Yeah, obviously, 2 years ago when we started, we had all these models, and our prediction was initially 2 years ago that in April 24, the price should be $42,000. Not too bad, because we are on 45.
So that's quite good.
Something was right about it. And the thing is, since the approval came last night, obviously it's more like 50 to 55 because we already reached this. Also, a lot of money is on the sideline, and estimations that really trillions of dollars will move in because, especially the institutional investors, a lot of them were not allowed to invest, to buy Bitcoin because of legal regulations. especially companies and pension funds and all that type of thing. But they all will come in because now they go to BlackRock, they go to Van Eyck, they go Valkyrie or Wisdom Tree. So they don't go to the Bitcoin, they go to the big Wall Street guys in the world. So the big change is trust. There is no discussion anymore that Bitcoin is shit. No, this is over. I mean,
no.
this discussion is over. So this is why we think 55 in April. By the end of the year, we believe we see at least the all-time high of 69. Our prediction is it's about $100,000 because a lot of money inflow will take place. Everybody will come in. Your fear of missing out, that type of thing will come. And it's not only retailers, as I just said, it's institutional investors as well, and the banks and so on. And then the really interesting time will be 25, because according to history, Bitcoin has 4-year cycle, as we just saw in the data. We will see the peak, according to our model. And if you're interested in this, go on our website, arment-finance.de. It's all interactive on the Bitcoin future. You can play around with the mouse, because it's a logarithm regression model. Basically, this is what Bitcoin is. And our model goes up until 2030. I don't want to talk about 2030, but according to our model in December 25, it's probably something like $200,000 to $250,000.
Yeah, it is incredible. The future looks very good, even more after last night. And yeah, so this was our information blog for you today. It was a lot of data, but this is the most important thing. And so if you liked our content, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and feel free to comment. And we will be here for you next Tuesday again in 1 week. As you know, Bitcoin today, for today, we say thank you. Till the next time.
Thank you.